Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back to ya with another episode of Walks with Schla, and something very strange and mysterious happened. So I was ready to do the Walks with Schla, and my iPhone 13 mini, the battery was dead. And that's really confusing because it obviously should not have been dead. I'm not really sure what happened. I guess best case scenario, I just didn't lock the screen last night, maybe, because I'd called somebody using it, and I don't know, that's kind of like a best case scenario, because by the end of the call it was still in the high 40s percentage wise. It may have even still said 50. So would be extremely concerning if just from then to now, which really was probably I don't know, 13 or 14 hours ago, it would just be completely drained dead, especially since I've never seen that behavior before from that battery, and the battery health, I believe, is 97%. So, kind of concerning. Kind of concerning for sure. I don't really know, though. It's like, it is what it is. I just hope nothing's that crazy wrong with it. And so I'm using the 14 Plus to record right now, and let me tell you, it is noticeably not as fun or as good to use this thing. It's obviously substantially larger, and yeah, I mean, I think I almost took for granted just how optimal the 13 mini was for recording with, and then fortunately I have this as like this emergency last second backup, but I've no idea what I would have done. I guess I would have had to use the 16 Pro Max, but yeah, I mean, fortunately I have this as a backup. But yeah, really strange. Like I said, hopefully for some reason maybe the screen just got left on by accident, but the thing is, that really doesn't make that much sense. It's possible, but like, I don't think I've ever really done anything like that, at least in my memory, like from what I can remember. I just don't ever really remember doing anything like that, so it doesn't really make that much sense to me, but hopefully that's all I did, and it's not just, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say or mention about it, really. So I guess that's that. Anyways, I don't know that I have too much to say. So, oh my gosh, I want to stop doing that, but I guess it's just like a habit. It's a habit to just, yeah, this thing is a lot harder to wield. This 14 Plus is much harder to wield. Oh, I do actually want to mention something. I did listen to one of the Walks with Schla because somebody had commented on it, and so I just hit the thing to see the comment and then just decided to watch the video, and I was pretty impressed with how it went, but not the beginning. Like, I want to say like the first 5 or 6 minutes seemed pretty rough to me, and then it was only after that that the episode really had some flow to it. The thing I'm most upset about, though, is like just how bad background noise rejection is. I mean, I really thought that this microphone was supposed to be a very like directional mic, and I have the sensitivity pretty low and stuff like that, but it just doesn't seem very good at all at background noise rejection. So that is kind of annoying. I don't know if there's any kind of apparatus I could build to block it out better, but probably just going to have to deal with it, because at some points, a lot of the background noise, I mean, it comes through clear as day, and that just seems really frustrating to me because the microphone is right in front of my face. So, like, why are you picking up all that other junk that's happening way further away? So, I guess that's a little bit disappointing. You know, the background noise, it's not fun, it's not good. But in terms of the actual quality of the mic, I'm incredibly impressed. I mean, it sounds really good. Like, it really sounds good, especially for how cheap I got it for. I tried to buy a second one, but the guy rejected my offer, so that's not really too fun. But yeah, I'll probably should get a backup of this mic, you know, at some point. It really wouldn't be a bad idea. It's just like, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, I wanted to mention that. It sounded good. I'm very happy with. I think for the cost, it's like a pretty impressive little device. Like I said, I just think the background noise rejection really leaves a lot to be desired. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really understanding. This is really hard to hold, this 14 Plus, especially with gloves on. It's basically impossible. Like, I was worried about holding the phone being a problem, but I actually realize now it's not with the smaller phone, but it is with the bigger phone, because I guess the gloves limit your dexterity, you know? I don't know though. I guess it's okay. It's okay to need a alternative, you know what I mean? So it's a good thing, I think. It's probably a good thing. Like, it's for the better. But yeah, like I said, I think the only other issue with it is it seems to clip pretty easily, which is not good, but I guess for how cheap it is, there's really nothing else that would make more sense for me to get. Like, this is just so incredibly affordable, and yeah, it's really difficult to make any other kind of argument. So I guess I should check from now on, though. It's just another thing that's going to be draining for me to have to obsessively check is, you know, whether the phone has charge or not. I'm trying to think of, since there is some Black Friday deals now, kind of looking into that a bit. There's, you know, maybe a better keyboard I've been looking at for a while. The Asus Azoth Extreme has a very high-end aluminum body. It's pretty expensive, but it might be something I just want to get out of my system before 2026, which hopefully 2026 will be the year of self-control. You know, and I won't be so just like spending money all over the place and stuff. That's really the goal, a more of a self-control kind of year and all. And I just think that keyboard, it's unnecessary, but it's not like a horrible thing to buy. I don't know. But I'm still like thinking it over, and yeah, I just think again, it's interesting. It is interesting. I don't know how everything's shaping up and just what my intentions are for the following year. But yeah, I know. I mean, the way these episodes go, some of them are kind of dicey to listen to. They're a bit choppy. They're a bit unrefined, for sure. And it's not really a great thing. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I have to kind of wonder, like, what I like listening to them now. Part of it's because it's like listening to your own voice. I think I'm more tolerant of listening to my own voice than a lot of people are, but it still doesn't really sound great to me. It's still something that just sounds like a little bit off. So yeah, it is what it is, really. I don't I don't know. It's a shame. It looks like there's a lot of noise going on where I usually walk, so again, now I'm more cognizant of how much the background noise protrudes. They could definitely make like a newer microphone that was better at background noise rejection, but I just don't think they really make it in this format that I want, which is just something you snap on to the phone and just snap on and go kind of vibe. Like, it's not really a lot like it. So far, though, in terms of today and yesterday, the week's going by relatively fast, especially considering the disaster that was yesterday morning. I think that overall, the day was pretty fast yesterday, and even today it seems like things are swinging along. I think we're through the first third of the day, I believe, already. So it's like, I don't know, things are moving at an okay pace, and then tomorrow is Wednesday, but it's really Friday because I have Thanksgiving off, so it's actually like a decent pacing. It's not really a terrible, I wouldn't say it's a terrible situation. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder, like, I actually don't know what places around here would be better for recording or like lower noise. I don't really know that there is, sadly. It's kind of a shame. I mean, I could just go in my car and record, and that would obviously be a pretty great sound isolated recording environment, but then I wouldn't be getting my exercise in, and that's really the whole point, is I'm keeping up with my steps, which I think I walk like enough. I walk enough to maximize the benefits, but I don't think that I walk enough to like no, sorry, that's not a good way to describe it. I walk enough to maximize things before the point where the returns start to diminish. But I think if I walked like an additional, I don't know, 30 minutes a day, that would probably maximize things. But yeah, because it's like with anything, there's diminishing returns, and I'm probably doing the most efficient version of that. But yeah, I guess I'm just feeling called to talk about that idea of really taking it easy in 2026. It could be a good idea for me. It could be a good thing for me to really relax and just try to rejuvenate. You know, that's kind of the name of the game, if you will. It just could be an interesting thing, you know? I think my mind is very busy. It's very constantly trying to optimize and figure things out. And if I really step back and clean up in 2026, that it could be a good idea. It could be a good break, because my brain has gotten, it's I almost imagine like a claw starting to like grab it, and or maybe like a tree seed planted in it, and its roots are like growing in the crevices of the brain and trying to grab root of it and take root of it to just constantly be thinking and burning energy and trying to contemplate things, optimize my life. Obviously, in addition to just my immediate life in front of me, I'm talking about all these kinds of topics on my shows that are like very deep and interesting and all that stuff. And it's like, it's just been a big complicated mess. I don't know. It's kind of a shame. And yeah, I'm just trying to navigate that, really. But yeah, there's temptations. There's definitely temptations. But the keyboard thing, I'm pretty tempted about, even though it's pricey. I'm pretty tempted about this keyboard. I've been wanting it for I've been wanting a keyboard of its size for a long time, and I think I've actually been aware of this keyboard for over a year now, I'm pretty sure. So it's interesting, like, probably at this point, it would make sense for me to just get it, and get it over with and kind of figure that out and all. I think it would be, in a way, something that's good for me. It's good for me to engage with something like that. I don't know. You have to wonder, like, how crazy a lot of people might think I am for doing this, right? For talking this much. I mean, nobody really knows, and of anybody I have told, nobody really makes that big of a deal out of it or seems to, like, shrug it off. But it is kind of in crazy territory. It's in crazy land. But as I said before, I don't really know what else I would do. That's genuinely where we're at. I mean, I've kind of outlined it before, but it's like, okay, during my break, what am I going to do? Am I going to, just listen to music or just walk and do nothing? It just all seems like a worse or a less productive version of what I could be doing. And so it doesn't really make that much sense, does it? It just seems kind of like goofy or silly or not really what I should be doing. I don't know. So there is an exhaustive or an obsessive angle to it. It could be a semi unhealthy behavior, but I think for the most part it ends up being worth it because it's at least like it has a lot of hyper productiveness to it, and I'm not seeing any returns for now, but really you never know. You never know until people could discover it or something. And like I said, the returns, even if they're not material, I think for me as a person, the returns have been good. For me as a person, I think it's better to just have the library, because I guess I could be just out here walking and talking to myself occasionally, but it would be more thinking as opposed to just speaking. As there are moments, especially in car rides, which it was like that. This morning was a rather terrible episode of Car Rides with Schla. But there are moments where I just have like moments of silence because I think, and I'm not always speaking, but during the show I try to talk more. So it kind of changes things a little bit. It's not exactly how I would want things, but I speak because it's really the only way to chronicle at the moment. I wish I could record thought and speech, but for now this is like the limited vessel that I have access to. So I'm trying to do what I can with what I have and what we have at the moment. Like there's just not as much that can be done. So it is what it is, and I think that's pretty much it, right? Like I'm trying my best, I'm really trying my best to figure this all out. I don't even know, like, and it's a shame too, because again, I can tell episodes like this morning's car ride, which like it just wasn't great. It wasn't a great thing, and I would really hope that at some point it could be fixed or something, like I don't really know. I wish it could be to a point where every episode I felt was good, but there isn't really a whole lot that I can do about that. I think everybody has their moments where there's some kind of fault or flaw, and then things, you can't just always be turned up and turned on. And like even now I'm not even getting into anything conceptually, so that's like a whole other thing. I just feel like in a bit of a crunch still, and I don't know. I think that crunch may wear off, but I still feel in a crunch. I still feel like I have a bunch of decisions to make. I think once 2026 finally arrives, like with the keyboard, like with all these different things, I'm trying to figure out what to do and all, and so it's just a bunch of work. Just a bunch of work trying to figure that all out and all that, you know. It's just really really been a crazy time, this like 2025, the whole year, and then even in this final stretch it's still kind of crazy, but it is what it is, you know. It's just how it's been. And so this episode, it's just more of me speaking my mind right now, not really actually creating an episode, which I think we did that on the car ride home yesterday. So that kind of theme has continued, I feel like, last night, this morning, and then now it's still continuing. Although last night's may have been a little bit different. I feel like, or no, I meant this morning might have been a little bit different. I felt like I got into something at some point, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I should be listening to more of those past recordings, but just a little weird. Like I said, I think I tolerate listening to myself more than most people can tolerate it, but it's still not the greatest thing, like not the greatest feeling thing. And also sometimes I think the way I talk on here, since it's not as performative or theatrical, it kind of impacts me a little bit different. Like when I listen to myself and it's more of an act or it's like theater, then it's easier to listen to if it's more of a joke, if it's more joking or me just going crazy. But when it's me being real like this, yeah, like that's pretty difficult to listen to, you know, because I don't know, it's vulnerability. It's something I don't even know that I want replayed, but I'm putting my heart out here hoping that will land somehow, some way. I don't know if it will, but you know, that is what it is, I guess. I don't really know. But anyways, yeah, hopefully we get that 13 mini back up and running, and I will see you with a much more comfortable and better recording apparatus when we return with the second episode of Walk Switch Schla on today, which today is, what is today? I want to say November 25th. Yeah, I think it's Tuesday, November 25th. Anyways, it's been Schla, but now it's time to buy Schla. So, see ya, Schla.